Hello everyone, I am Oliveblade and a very warm welcome to my Wonderland this week. So, what brought us all here today? Well, if you've seen my previous video, you know Miss Jabami here decided to be inspired by English history and reenact Anne Boleyn. I mean, come on dear, I was on your side since the beginning, fighting for your design while others abandoned you. I stood by you waiting for even an extra 6 months to receive you when the hype had long died, to also make you the grand figure in this ultimate series unboxing, only for you to arrive like this. You were meant to make us all thralling, not heads falling. You're meant to be the Queen of Hearts, not her victim, so let's fix this gambling queen, shall we? But in order to do so, I'm going to make this a part of a little, not necessarily series. I collect enough pre-owned figures and I've fixed enough broken figures that I think they should have their own section, and thus Nurse Waifu Oliveblade is born, costume change! So this actually started as a joke first, where I got obsessed with nurses last year a little bit as far as figures, and after one of my friends bought me a random nurse figure, I delved a little bit into that a tad. And I've got my nurse squad here who's going to help me throughout these videos that I'll hopefully document nicely in detail to help anyone else who has similar or the same issues. But nevertheless, I that year for Halloween made my costume as a Lolita, like kind of goth nurse. That looked really sick. But I was playing games with my friends and we had to make names, and I gave myself just the funny cringe name Nurse Waifu. And then 5 months later, one of my friends, because I just kept using it for that game, and they're like, you named yourself. That actually works because they know that I've fixed figures in the past. So I am the Nurse of Waifus. There we go. Anyway, now let's continue to fixing this figure. But I do have to mention the process I went through first. And that was, as soon as it broke, I just packed it away straight away and contacted Suko, because that's where I contacted their support, and I think you could label it under like defective product, for example. That was the best tagline that I could choose for that, and explain the situation and sent plenty of pictures as well. The thing that was terrible about this is because that I waited so long to unbox it because I wanted to do this absolute mega haul of Kakegurui, but that was the bad decision for this because they didn't have any more of her in stock, otherwise they would have sent me a new one. They sent the pictures to, I'm guessing, Freeing, that's where they ordered them, and Freeing couldn't send any replacement parts or do anything. Not that it's, like a replacement part that you can send, because the peg in the neck's clearly broken off. So I think instead offered me, if I can fix it, they'd give me a $40 voucher, and yeah, that's good. I can have a figure that's kind of fixed, which is very generous because it's not their fault, because they're just the distributor and they package immaculately. I have to say, I've always had good customer service from Sugo Toys. So yeah, I chose that one because regardless if I could trade in and get a refund and then look at buying it, because I still really want this figure, and then the chances of her coming broken again is just, yes, I just thought, alright, well, I'll face this and I'll do that. And what was really good is in the Suko Toys email, they suggested using epoxy glue, which is what I already use for gluing my figures. So I'm like, okay, well, that's a good suggestion. I'll give that a thumbs up. And they also sent a video like how to help fix figures by gluing. I thought, oh, I'll check that out. And I just checked it again just to make sure I'm not wrong in this, which is a great video. This guy has an amazing collection and he's showing all the little fixes he's done, pointing them out, but he doesn't actually show how to glue them together. And so that's why I'm hoping to give a little bit more highlight into that in my videos, even though it's a bit tricky because I'm going to favour positioning the figure in a good spot while I'm gluing it over camera angle, and that's just not on purpose. I'll try to get a good camera angle as best as I can, but I also don't want to screw it up, and I'd like, when I'm working on things very delicately, I like to press my eyeballs almost right up to it and not have much room for the camera. So I'll give it the best shot I can, and yeah, we'll see how we go, and I hope it is informative, and then I can add this to a series because there's a few other figures that I'm gonna have to fix as well. Anyway, let's move on. As you can see, so for far too long I've had this box just in my storage area, and you can see I put I wasn't feeling too happy when I put the label on it. Actually, my mum went down to, it's near the washing room, and she saw the label, and she's told me she felt really bad. Because she was looking forward to seeing this figure too, even though it was, I don't know, it was a real scare, because I know I had the gibberel, but this is, she has quite the bust, I must say. Now then, let's examine her. I didn't examine her too well the first time I unboxed her, because I was like, oh, okay, I'll quickly put her back in, even though I was looking at her back a little bit. Anyway, so let's bring her out and assess the situation. I did formulate a plan of attack to how to fix this figure, which involved putting a metal peg in her neck. But, as you can see, because I didn't properly look at it first, she already has one! I don't know why. My concept, why didn't they make it longer? If anyone does garage kits or anything, could you please let me know why they didn't make the peg longer? Because I thought if it was a bit longer, that would have been more support than what it is. And yeah, with this simple face on thing, you would think it wouldn't snap. Anyway, so it's definitely a manufacturing issue. The box packaging is very well done. So yes, that is the issue. But also her hair is very light. I thought it was going to be really heavy, and that's why I was like formulating the plan to use a metal peg to put in her neck and like drilling a hole, because I didn't think there was one in there already, but there is. So I'm just gonna have to glue it, which is frustrating, because as you can see with the peg so inserted into her neck, it's so thin, the sculpt around it, that for me, in order to take this out, it would probably do more damage than it's good. Also, look at this ugly seam at the back. Let's get a good view of that before it's hidden. But yeah, that's annoying that that's there as well. Not that you're going to see it, but still, now we can see it, so might as well criticize it to get back at this tragedy. Apart from that though, I think the base was a bit scratchy. Yeah, the packaging is amazing. It's just the manufacturing for this, unfortunately, but some of it's beautiful. Like the paint work on this is just stunning, just absolutely beautiful, and the tights are amazing. Now, one thing to ensure, because we're working with glue and most glues are clear, sometimes you may not know that you've accidentally smeared some on your figure, so it is integral to cover every piece of your figure. It might seem a little bit overboard, but trust me, this is a $450 figure AUD I spent on, and if I get any glue on her, I am just, apart from where I wanted, I'm going to be devastated, to say the least. So ensure you, especially if you're not confident, in the past I haven't, and I'm just going to do it from now on, because it's good. Not only is it good practice, but a good example to encourage. So let's do that. So make sure to cover everything. Since she's broken, it's not likely I plan on selling her, so I used a little bit of the packaging because that was perfect to cover the top half there. So at this point, I don't care. I just want to fix her and have her on display, because I've seen her in other people's collections and I'm missing her. I want to see her out. So here we are. We've wrapped her up. I put the ears on because I didn't want to weaken it. Once I've made that strong glue joint, I'd rather put the ears on so I don't have to try to wedge them in the top and end up snapping her head off again, God forbid. So I suggest that you do that as well. Now, I usually would prefer using like a plastic container lid to mix the glue on. I did have foil here. It's the only thing I had on hand, and I'm sick of waiting. I waited way too long to let alone have this on display and fix it. So I'm using what I have. But if you're not careful with mixing it with a toothpick, then, because it's a two-part that you have to equally distribute, you can tear through the foil. So I recommend using a plastic container. I'm just doing it because I'm confident that I'm not going to screw it up. But let's see, shall we? I've previously used this glue on other figures, such as like a Albedo's wing. I'm pretty sure you've seen me use it in previous videos, but now hopefully I can make it a bit more specific and clearer, showing you my process. So, equally distribute two parts, and then just drawing the glue back a little bit and wiping it, and then I pull it back a little bit so it stops leaking, because this is the glue that once you push it out, it will continually flow out. So yeah, and then have some towel to wipe it and then quickly put on the lid. And this process, I've made this glue last quite a while. I've never had it kind of, you know, what's the word? I don't know, just activate unintentionally. So here we go, mix it. As you can see, I almost tore the foil there, so I'm like, okay, be a bit careful. You have, on the back, I think you have like a 5-minute working time. I would say 4 minutes, give yourself 4 minutes. So make sure to mix thoroughly, make sure to incorporate all parts. If you don't have a even mix, like it doesn't matter. I'd say even if you mix it 80%, it just might still take a little bit to dry. If you haven't mixed it properly though, which is pretty unlikely for you to do, it just doesn't dry properly. You might have sticky bits. So, but I think it's pretty easy just to mix it thoroughly. And I think you have to give it 24 hours to dry. It also said I think it can hold up to a weight of 135 kilograms or something. So that's good, because I know the hair is actually lighter than Homura's. Not only, I don't know why that she arrived like Homura, bunny figure Homura, not only does she have her head turning, but her hair seems heavier, and she arrived perfectly. So I don't know why this happened here, but anyway. Also, I do not recommend using a cotton tip here. Like I said, I'm using whatever I have at the house, because you might accidentally get some of the cotton threads in the glue, which you don't want. I was being careful here because I wanted something to smooth out, and I didn't have an old brush. Though, if you use like a cheap brush, you do have the chance of getting brush hairs stuck on there because they just come off. So whatever you can use, just be cautious, that's all. Otherwise, toothpicks work very well. Or if you have a thick skewer, that also works very well as well. See, I'm going in, the cotton tip didn't work as well, so I'm just going with some glue. You don't want to put a ton on the surface, so you want to apply it evenly on both surfaces. So I'm doing it here, and then I'm doing it on the other neck joint. And you don't want to put too much on, because once it's fused properly, the glue will it will end up being a lot more than you think it is, and you don't want it to overflow. So I really hope I don't overflow, but I still want to put enough on there that's going to be a nice, good surface joint. Yeah. And carefully just making sure I put it all around. Yeah. A nice, even coat. I will admit though, I'm a little sad that I didn't get to do the neck peg thing. I was kind of scared but excited to drill into that neck. But yeah, because I do want to get into doing garage kits, because yeah, it just would be very fun and exciting. And also some garage kits have some awesome sculpts. I've seen some awesome Tanya the Evil ones, Killer Kill, Shakaga no Shana. Yeah, they're the ones I'd probably try to get and start on first. But of course I just need to get some. But hopefully have a bit more time in the future. I would like to do a bit more art orientated things on this channel as well. Of course anime related, no doubt. Anyway, as you can see now, I'm attacking that neck. I accidentally got some on the collar there, but I just wiped away. I do recommend using gloves. I did not, and I even used my finger just to wipe away, so I don't recommend that. But yeah, I may be a bit too free because I'm an artist, and I'm not saying that's a good excuse at all. Yes, I will look after my skin later on. But I made sure it's clear. That's why it's good to have paper towel on hand so you can wipe away it until it's set. You are fine. You're absolutely fine. Now the nerve-wracking part. Oh, it's good if you can hold it steady, connected for 5 minutes while it's set. So this is, how I said you've got 4 to 5 minutes working time. That includes when you start stirring it up. And then if you can just hold it for it to just bond a bit more, which is a bit tricky because of the weight of the head. It's still the lightest, probably bunny head that I have, but nevertheless, it's still annoying. So I did shift it around a bit to try to get, move the glue a bit around, and also to make sure that I have it on the right joint. So you have to feel around, and when you feel like it's joint well, you can't know unless, of course, it's a very obvious break, but because this was not too jaggedy, it was a bit hard to match up like a puzzle piece. So did the best I could, and I'm just holding it here for as long as I can. I've got tape here because I know she's going to need some sort of support while she's drying. Now, the reason I'm doing it standing up instead of lying down the box is because she's going to be my theory is she's going to be standing up, and for me to ensure that the head falls in place like a puzzle piece with gravity, I want her to be glued in the position that she's going to be strongest, which is how I want her, which is standing up. So that's why I didn't have her lying in the box, even though that seemed like maybe a perfect, I was going to say sarcophagus, I don't know why I want to say that, kind of body mold to hold her in place, but because it's a little bit, when she was in the box, her neck was a little bit leaning back, I don't think it would have been a perfect joint. So this is my theory to why I'm going to do it this way. Now, using tape, I'm taping it to give it tension and hopefully hold it in place. So I've done this with other figures. I've used tape, and I've also used cotton string, like with an alligator wing. I need to bring back that and show you, because it was such a weird sculpt, and trying to keep pressure on the piece I was gluing together, I needed it to be really tight. So string was perfectly tied on, but for this, tape is the best answer, and this kind of tape that you use for wrapping presents is perfect because it peels off, and even if you have it just on the figure paint, I've had no issue of it peeling off anything because it is very gentle. So I'm carefully applying that and trying not to move the head too much too, because it's starting to dry, and if you move it more while it's drying, then it's not going to have a proper joint. So maybe I should have applied this quicker, but I tried to do it as quick as I could. So here we go. I'm getting creative here, and this is what you have to do anyway. I'm using a lamp and also an old dried up piece of clay, Sculpey clay that I had, and also a little bit of foil just to perfectly balance that. Sitting here, her head is pretty good. It's not going to wobble too much. And yeah, so that's how I had it set up. Removing things carefully. It says leave for 24 hours, but I left for 2.5 days, I think, almost 3. I'll just say wait extra time, wait an extra day, especially if you have different weather. If you have warmer weather, it's probably going to dry quicker. If you're going to have cold weather, it's going to, obviously take longer. It's cold down here, so I left it for almost 3 days. I highly recommend, as long as you can leave it, just, yeah, do it. If you could leave it for a week too, I'd recommend that too. As long as you check on it and see that it's gluing well and it hasn't moved, that is the main thing. So the foil doesn't literally bond properly, so that's why it looked a bit sticky there, but I kept the foil because it does show you if the glue's dried, and 90% of the glue on the foil had dried very well, but like I said, because of the surface, yeah. Anyway, so let's carefully, moment of truth. As you can see, I've just woken up, I've got my hoodie on, and classic Looney Tunes hoodie on, and I will unmask the patient. So let's cut away those bandages, and I've got my finger underneath because God forbid I scratch it by cutting this off. I swear I've had the worst luck with this figure, and you see a little bit more, but we'll come to that in a moment. So yeah. Here we go, gentle near the head. Oh, I just hate how much I love this figure. And you see here, I'm putting a lot of pressure on wiggling it there, because I'm like, I will be displaying her on a high shelf, like on the top shelves. So I would like it to be solid enough, which it is, that it's not going to topple over, because that would probably be, rip, rest in peace. But I think she's been revived. I think the ritual worked perfectly. So I'm just going to tear the rest off. Of course I had to tear around the breast area. Anyway. Kevin in the background sounds quite excited too. Be careful, I'm using small scissors. Don't nip those gorgeous tights. Almost got it all off. Ooh. And now taking off the protective plastic in here where it was just like, really? Look, so they had protective packaging and there's a big paint scrape right there. So that's where I'm just like, it's... The manufacturing for this is just a bit of a hit and miss. Just a hit and miss, and I'm just... so why? I don't know, I just feel like, why would you wrap up a piece there that's had a piece of paint chipped off with a protective plastic if it's already scraped? But I digress. I'll try to look past that. She's finally glued together and look at her and her face. I think her face looks gorgeous. I can't tell you how happy I am that this worked out well. I didn't think it was going to work out bad, but you never know. Anything can happen. Now, I wasn't perfect. There is a tiny bit of glue that, this is why I said don't put too much. So I put a tiny bit too much, and I can see just at the bottom of the neck, a tiny bit of glue is just peeping out, a little bit of shine. But because the majority of the neck has shadow, it's gonna be okay. I can accept that. That is great. It's better than it all overflowing. So it's just a little bit that comes up, but that just gives you an idea of, with the little bit that I just put over both surfaces, how it still ended up going up the collar a little bit. But it's not bad, and it's not the end of the world. So that is magnificent. Had to show this when I was walking past. I was making room in my room to put her, and I was walking past and I zoom up here. Look, I'm walking past and all I can see is these bunny ears poking out and also her chest. So I had to show that. It's funny because I was like, wait, what's that? Oh god. So there we are. A success. The operation was a success. And this is the spot that I had designated for her, just above the Kakegurui shrine, or should I say this whole thing is the shrine. And they're all together. I am thrilled. So thrilled. Did you think I was going to finish there? No! Even though I did think I was going to finish the video there. But screw it, I've been dying to show the rest. So look at this. I went to one of my local anime stores here and they had this official Kakegurui pin. Look, it says Square Enix. I am just in absolute disbelief. I didn't even know this pin existed. Oh, how cool. This is epic. I am not much of a pin collector. I do have a few from when I went to conventions, but I love it so much. I've been wanting to put together some eater bags, but even though I don't think I'd put this in an eater bag, I'd probably have it more on display with the shrine, but how cool is it? Anyway, first we're going to unbox this Ami package, which if you haven't put it together already, well, that's lit off pretty perfectly. And it is, of course, the Merry Nendoroid from the same series. Yes, I know, it's ironic that I unboxed her like just a bit after. Well, so the thing is, I didn't want to wait any longer with the rest of the Kakegurui figures. I'm like, oh, so let's do the haul now, and then I'll just add her in, because at the point I filmed that, this Nendoroid hadn't been released yet. But yeah, things happened and things got broke. Well, were broken. Anyway, they're all fixed now, and let's crack open her so we can have little Jabami, a cute little friend. Instructions. I think I always accidentally go to the Japanese side before the English. Not that I need them at all, but still good to show they're doing specific ones for the specific Nendoroids, which I know wouldn't make sense, but if they took a lesson out of Freen's book, which they never do, that's why. The buddy thing. Anyway, good instructions, and now let's look at the faceplates. Let's see if they're just as good as Yumeko's. Oh, look at that crazy face, those eyes. They really got the color on that shock face, and even like you can see just the shape of the tongue too. It just looks so, oh, it's so detailed. And then her little smug kind of just like, ugh, face. That is so cute. I can't wait to put this together. So just cutting this off. I know I keep telling myself no more Nendoroids, but I had to get it for the set. They're a set, they're a pair. I have the Kotobukiya ones. If only Myethos did not only a Mary one but also a Yumeko one to go with her on the lying on the playing card table. Ooh, whoop, can't look at that. Whoopsie. No, I'm kidding. So it's got this adorable skirt clicked in. I was just removing all the plastic. I love the print. They've definitely got it's almost houndstooth print. For a simple schoolgirl going to a gambling school, they have definitely jam-packed detail into the sculpt and the painting of this Nendoroid. Just like Yumeko, I absolutely love it. Oh, it's so cute. Anyway, I had to change her elbow. But let's look at the head for a second. So this is interesting. It's detachable, this part. Not that you can really move it, I guess. Maybe you can tilt a little bit, but still I thought that was a little interesting that they had separating, because it was a bit annoying trying to clip it back on. But I digress. Their hair sculpt looks so gorgeous. Now just wiggling this off. Actually, I had a new person join our Discord. Oh, welcome. And they were like, so is it worth it? Is Nendoroids worth it? And even though I haven't personally replied, I was just wondering, I guess it's a personal preference. A lot of people get them for certain reasons. I personally get it if I absolutely adore the character, but I guess the good things with Nendoroids is they are very well made majority of the time. I know sometimes quality control can be lacking, but thus being a collector with the certain figures and the limitations, sometimes things get amiss, unfortunately, and that is just being a collector. Look at the hair there. But I'd definitely say if you like a cute little chibi companion of your favorite character, they are definitely worth it. But they are getting a bit pricey, but hopefully that doesn't increase anymore, because yes, she has less accessories than Yumeko. Just a little disappointed, but at least they're interchangeable accessories, some of them. But yes, so if I think it then at that stage has to be a worth it question for yourself. Like, with this price, am I happy? Will I just adore having this in my collection? Will I never get bored? Will I not regret having this thing, regardless of it being a Nendoroid or scale? And of course, you're never going to know 100%, but if you just have it on your mind, you just can't get your mind over the figure, and you're like, yes, this needs a place in my collection, then I think you should be pretty set to get whatever you think you really would love. So anyway, I do hope to do like a figure collecting one-on-one, share my I don't know about knowledge, but just my opinion maybe on figure collecting. Let me know if you'd be interested in hearing about that. Anyway, she's here together. I tried to mimic the picture here because obviously I had to have a crazy face with that epic hand position, but I couldn't exactly get the feet where I wanted them. They just didn't look like the picture. I was a little bit disappointed with that, but I tried numerous times. But I did not have much luck, I'm afraid. But so I decided I'll have her with her legs in a strong stance pose that just suits the energy of both her and the show, and then poke up her pigtails are just so gorgeous. The sculpt, the color too. And actually this front plate, even though we're getting already Future Diaries Nendoroid, that probably would have been a good accessory to swap and paint for, you know, if you're doing your own custom, but we don't have to do that anymore. Well, for that character at least. I still personally would like to try it for myself. Anyway, let's get this pin off. So the store clerk I met, she was absolutely gorgeous. She's like, oh, you're getting the Yumeko pin. I'm like, oh yes, this is at this store. And thank you, by the way. You were absolutely lovely to meet. And I, you know, can't help but nerd out a little bit with fellow anime enthusiasts, especially if they love what you like. And oh, how epic is this pin? Anyway, she has the Mary version. She said I had to get it straight away, and I could not walk away from the shop without getting this. I was gonna get this, especially when I saw the Square Enix official. Yeah, no, I had to get it. So hopefully if they get the other one back in stock, or I'm just gonna have to hunt the Mary one now to be matching. But if I could have chosen one out of each of them to have, it would have been the Yumeko, definitely, because she is my best girl for the show, yes. Not to sound a simp, but don't care. Anyway, I absolutely love this extra exciting pickup, and this Nendoroid is definitely worth it in my opinion. She's just, the paintwork is just gorgeous. If I wanted a Mary Nendoroid, that's exactly what I wanted. So here we go. Here's a showcase of my entire Kakegurui shrine. Ooh, what a collection now. I had to show it all together again, just to show you all my pieces together. This is how I wanted to show you in the first video, but alas, it has to be the second. And I'm gonna have to get one of those little coin stands, I think, for the pin, because I would like to have it in my designated cabinet, of course. I'm so thrilled that I could finally show you them all together. That Yumeko face just never gets old. And look, the bunny figure, like as if she came exactly brand new. I think the stop off at Nurse Oliveblade Waifu Station definitely paid off for her. And yeah, there you go. I hope you feel you were able to get a bit more insight at how I fix this figure, and that might potentially help you in the future. I hope it does. But yeah, there you go. I will continue to try to do a bit more if I do have to fix things or try to work out tricky collected things. I'll try to document them a tad more, and you'll hopefully see Nurse Waifu again soon. Anyway, until next time, my dear Wonderlandians, take care, treat yourself, and I will see you next time. Bye! 1, 2, 1. Da la la la. Do 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 do. Ba la 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 la. Apada mom non sune. くそいをだいとしない感じの strong な mind 出し言うて sublime 気づく先を heaven no hell この世界にいるよだってヘッドさすかさせせきあんた今を抱きよじゃするせとじゃしよややらかったなんだでだろ私はかけるのクリームDo with the damn sushi day. Atashi no mono ni tsuru under that the camera in bamboo. Manasamu. $1,000,000 I say raise for the your boy. Or just to say when she did. Sorry. Not sorry.